Hey, Saucy but Sweet fam. Now, this one is for all the ladies and fellas out here. Did you grow up with a lot of female friends or male friends? Were you told as a young girl or boy that having friends of the opposite gender would always lead to hurt feelings or give the wrong idea to someone? Do you feel yourself gravitated toward women or men? And how do you feel about explaining to your partner about your preference of being around the opposite gender? A few years ago, Steve Harvey stated that he and men in general aren't capable of having female friends. And when asked why, he said because a man is never truly going to want to just be your friend. But what wasn't asked was if women were the same. Are women truly capable of looking at a man as just a friend and not a sexual partner? Now, y'all, I got thoughts about this. I'd like to think as a human race, we've evolved past the whole can't be friends with the opposite gender thing. If you're a pop culture girly like me, you've probably seen countless media outlets come up with think pieces of famous folks who are dating, when in reality, they're just friends. Let's unpack. You are now listening to Saucy but Sweet with Ali McPherson, a podcast where nothing is off limits, where we talk about everything from romance, sex, pop culture, and everything in between. Sit back, relax, and enjoy an unfiltered time where we keep it sweet and always saucy. I am so happy to have my friend Sevanny Campos joining us again. So hi, Sevanny. It's been a while since you've been on the show. How are you doing?
Hi, Ali. Thanks for having me. Everything's been good, out here working, thriving, producing, loving
Hey,
life.
I love that. I love that. Yeah. So I know you have a new job since you were last on a podcast. You're on the podcast, I feel like 2 years ago. I think it was a New Year's Eve reflection episode. So for our listeners, what's your new job? What are you up to since we last spoke?
So I'm a segment producer for News Nation. It's
Hey.
it's a news network. It's up and coming. And I have the pleasure of working for the only Pakistani host on television. Her name is Henna
Wow.
Doba. She's incredible. And our morning show, Morning in America, is great. And then on the weekdays, I work on News Nation Now with Connell McShane, and he's excellent as well. And in my network, we try to like just straight down the middle, but with these two people, it's great. There's a lot of critical thinking. And so it's consumed my life, and it's because it's a whole new field, but I love it.
Yeah, man. I'm proud of
Yeah.
you. I mean, like we all, the grad school cohort who, we went to journalism school together, we struggled together, we suffered together, and now seeing us do like such great things, you know what I mean? It's like the work really paid off.
Yeah, and then on personal, our mutual best friend
Yeah,
Corey.
shout out to Corey.
Yeah, we are the co-hosts of a podcast called Major League Deals, where we talk about sports business and how all these deals are impacting the culture of sports. So, like, how did Jordan become Jordan? We talk about stuff like that, and so that's been good because Corey is also starting a new job. So we picked it up, and we're happy with it.
Amazing. Yeah, shout out to you guys for doing the podcast thing. Hey.
Hey, maybe one day we'll get signed by ESPN.
Yes. Yes. And one day I'll be signed with iHeartRadio. Please, let it let that
Put
be in
it
the
out
song.
there. Manifest, manifest.
No, this is the year of manifestation. I've been just saying things like, let's go. I manifested this Upper East Side studio apartment I'm in. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, I have yet to see it, but it's because of my schedule. But
yeah.
yeah,
One day you're gonna come through. Yeah. Corey's
yeah.
been here.
Oh, I'm so jealous.
Yeah, it was Corey, Shez, and Sonia. They came. It was like I think MLK weekend, and Sonia spent the night and everything. And I was like, "Yo, I can only have 4 people at a time in here, though. So four, we can't have a huge,
Okay.
But yeah, just me and my cats, Nala and Jericho. We're doing
Oh,
the
I
thing.
love it. Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, and so this topic I really want to get into. I know I spoke with you about it earlier than when we're recording, but what really brought me to this topic was just like when I talk to my friends, we'll discuss like can men and women just be friends? Like, because I have male friends, and I think my I have some friends who don't. You know what I mean? Or feel like their partner wouldn't be okay with it. And it always was a little strange to me because I was like, well, whoever I date has to be okay with who I'm friends with. Shout out to Corey Matthews, my best friend, who's been on the podcast too. But like, yeah, and I'm curious to know, like, were you someone who naturally hang out with women or men or a mix? What are your thoughts on that?
Okay, so I'm originally from California, and my best
Mhm.
friend, I'm gonna call him Redwood just because like I don't want to blow up his spot. But my best friend is a man, and we have been best friends. He has been in my life for almost 11 years at this point.
Whoa.
He is my Platonic soulmate. I love him. I'm getting like emotional.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, Redwood is the love of my life.
Wow.
My friendship with him is really special, and he and I are living proof that you don't have to have anything in common except wanting to be best friends with each other and an ideal of life, and it can carry you plus 10 years plus. So, like Corey is your best friend, Redwood is my best friend, and I it's a unique friendship, and I think it works because we're both of different sex. Like I'm a woman and he's a dude, and he's 6'7" and I'm 5 feet on a good day.
Yeah.
So we have absolutely nothing in common, but Redwood is my best friend. And you- continuing on, Corey and I host a podcast. Corey's one of my best friends. Corey's a dude. Corey wants absolutely nothing from me, Steve Harvey, um, except for my football takes and my podcast takes.
Yeah.
Redwood wants nothing from me except to laugh about TikTok videos.
And you
So,
said, and you said platonic soulmate, which is something I actually don't hear people say typically. Have there ever been anything between you and Redwood or any other guy who you just saw as a friend? Have you ever had that experience of like, I think I'm falling in love, or it just didn't work out, or yeah,
Redwood and I met at a very impressionable age. Um, so obviously at some point I was like, I think I love you. And at one point I think he was like, I think I love her. And then it never panned out. And then that lasted for like maybe the first year of our friendship. And then after that, we've been just straight homies. Redwood, I love Redwood, man. That dude is like, okay. Like everybody, we all have our struggles. So I was going through something recently, and I was like, Redwood, do you have 2 seconds to get on the phone with me? And he's like, I'm driving home. Is that okay? And I'm like, no, I don't want you to die. So, so we always just keep each other in mind. But he ended up pulling over, and we ended up just grabbing a 10-minute call. And honestly, all I needed was those 10 minutes to just talk. And even from, he lives in California, I live in New York, and even that distance, Redwood and I maintain a really healthy friendship. But yes, there were moments when we were younger that we did have feelings for the other, but we didn't like, it's not like I was trying to like bide my time, Steve Harvey, and wait that and think that like at one point he was gonna look at me, and that there was absolutely zero of that.
yeah, and also I can relate. I like last week, or soon 2 weeks ago. I don't know when this episode's gonna come out and people will hear it, whatever. But yeah, like a while back, I was in the bathroom breaking down at work. Something had happened, and I broke down, and I called Corey, and he, his work schedule is very interesting, so he happened to have just been home or something, and we talked on the phone for like 20 minutes or longer. And again, just being able to call that person, not like, oh, I hope this person one day wants me or whatever. No, just like, I need you, bro. Like, you got time? And that's what it is. And it was such a beautiful moment of him being there and really caring. And it was not to let, me know anything like Steve Harvey was like, oh, I'm just around the corner waiting for you to pick me. Nobody's doing that. It's just genuine bond, you know. So I can
Yeah,
relate.
yeah, it's something beautiful because you know i something that I appreciate with my girlfriends is that they will always relate because the experience of being a woman, while it is individual, it's also
Yeah.
universal, right? So another woman will understand your struggles. Whereas this is so bad, but I have the worst periods, and Redwood gets like it's instant panic. Like, Redwood, I'm in pain. Okay, where can I get you? How can I help? And I love that. I love that, like, his instant care because he doesn't understand. And sometimes when, like, I can't even, like, leave the bed, Redwood will just, like, call me and be like, "Yo, do you need food, homie? Like, when's the last time you ate?"
Oh my God. I want men in my life like this.
Listen, Redwood is, like I said, like, that is my best friend for life.
Ride or die. No, it's
My
a ride or die
writer.
type of shit.
Okay, so you mentioned your boyfriend real quick. I should probably share this. Um, in case, unlike Ali, I don't have a love life. My life is my work right now. But uh, whenever I do date, Redwood is like, I'm gonna outlast all your boyfriends. Because when we were younger, uh, there was this guy who was like, I don't want to meet him. I don't want to see him. I don't want you to be around him. He got angry that Redwood and I went to go watch fucking Iron Man. That's how long ago that was. Um, but it's something that stays in his face, in his mind, that, like, at one point I let a guy tell me who I couldn't be friends with. And when that guy didn't last that long, Redwood was like, another one defeated.
I want this brings me to my next thing actually because there are people that are uncomfortable with us having that type of bond with another man, and same with women. Some women are like, why is that girl always around? And actually something me and Corey were talking about the other day where we asked each other, would we be okay with our partners having the same bond that we have with each other? And you know what our answer was? I'm sorry, Corey. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to,
Blow up his spot.
yeah, blow up his spot. He said no. I don't think he said I think it would take me a while to get used to that because I know what you and I have, and to be fair, we do have history, and we've passed a boundary at one point, and so to be able to then have a girl, let's say he has a girlfriend who was like, oh yeah, I kissed him, I whatever, but we're just best friends now. Like, how can you sit with that? And I myself struggle with that too. So it's a little kind of not fair because I asked my partner, I don't even have to ask him to be okay with it. He really is fine. But like we couldn't handle it. And I don't know why that is when we have that bond ourselves with people.
Yeah, I think now that I'm older, I will I will never let a man or a woman or anybody that I choose to fall in love with have any impact on who I'm friends with. That's just not
Mm,
happening.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm older, and I mean, I'm living. I have a roommate, but, like, I live on my own. I pay my own bills.
Mm-hmm.
I make myself quite happy. The last thing I need is someone who's so insecure, or maybe thinks that I don't have my priorities straight, where I would choose to end a friendship for a man. That doesn't make sense to me.
Mm,
Redwood is gonna be in my life before was in my life before that potential love interest, and he's gonna be in my life after that potential love interest.
mm-hmm.
Why in
But
the
how would you
world?
Yeah, but how would you feel if your partner had that same bond, close bond with someone else? Would that be something that you're like, oh, I'm fine with it because I have it? Or would you inside kind of be honest with yourself, saying like, I don't know how I feel about it. Like, I'm just curious to know if
I
it was
think
on the receiving end or if you have been.
that requires a lot of honesty within a
Yeah.
relationship, right?
Yeah.
And at what point do you share that? Because that type of friendship that you and I both have with our male best friends, it's because we have experienced intimacy with them, right? So that boundary isn't there. There is a lot of love and a lot of understanding because at one point we thought we were in love or understood or had some sort of feelings with them. So they know us intimately.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we have to tell the person that we're dating. So
Yeah.
it is, for me, it's always a topic of
Hmm.
conversation 3 months in.
Yeah.
Hey, I have this best friend.
Yeah.
Uh, he's going to be my best friend and you're going to
Hmm.
be okay with it, or this is over.
Wow.
And so,
Yeah.
so, and for me, I've never had, um, I've never had someone that I've been like jealous of, you know.
Mm.
My favorite ex, he has a female best friend and I don't care.
Mm.
Yeah.
Wow,
Well,
that's real maturity. I actually like admire that because it's like you're not a hypocrite, at all. Like I am, and no, Corey is. I love him. He's a hypocrite too. But like I think like you said, it comes with maturity. Like, yes, I'm almost 30, so like, but it's like it'll take some time to get there. And that's okay because I know, like you said, like we're not gonna drop our friends for a relationship. And we're also not gonna drop our relationship for like, well, at least I'm not. Like I think they're both super important to me at this point. But like you said, like if you have a friend that's been there who's like platonic, you know what I mean? Like that's they've seen you at your worst, your best. You can't just drop that, you know?
and that's never even it's not even an option.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm also the people I choose to date.
Yeah.
Why in the world would I ever choose a man who's insecure about that?
Mm. Yeah.
So, yeah.
And something too, I want to say kudos to you because you are more mature than DJ Envy from the Breakfast Club. Shout out to the Breakfast Club. I talk about them all the time. But I listen to the Breakfast Club very often, and DJ Envy has said very often that his wife Gia is not allowed to have male friends. Unless it's friends that they have together. But he's like, no, she's not allowed. Like, not happening, not happening. And I think part of it comes because they grew up together. Like, they actually were each other's first loves. So they actually would only have had like the same friends. But still, he's like, no, I'm not secure enough for you to have male friends. And she said, what, you don't trust me? And he's like, not that I don't trust you, I don't trust them. And he said the same thing Steve Harvey was saying, that men are not programmed to just be friends with a woman. So that's a grown ass man saying that, who's been married for years.
Yeah, but their stories like a legend. Like there's this is stuff of fairy tales, you know. Don't get me wrong, like their fairy tale is not my fairy tale, but like it's super cute. Like they're in love, they're always matching with the other. They got beautiful kids together. They've been married for forever. He stays praising her. So like he is, I think it from the outside looking in, because I have absolutely no relationship to any of those people, and neither do
Sure.
you. And but like we have these parasocial relationships because we hear them in the morning and we watch them on YouTube, you know? So we have an
Hmm.
idea that we know them. All
Hmm.
that is to say, like they seem like a really healthy couple, and if that's what works for them, that's what works for them, you know?
Yeah.
But they've also, like you said, they've been in each other's lives for forever. And I think if she all of a sudden came up with like, this is Marco and we met and here and here and now we're spending all of our time together, it's like, what the fuck is Marco?
That's weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, yeah, that's the thing too. The difference between someone being in your life before your partner was there,
Mhm.
to then out of nowhere being like, oh, I'm spending all this time that I could be with you. I'm spending it with like John. Like that would be like, wait a minute. Who's John? And you know what I mean? And also I want to say DJ Envy is also a hypocrite because he had actually, him and Charlamagne the God are very honest about this, that they have cheated on their wives. Um, Charlamagne the God used to cheat on his wife many times. And DJ Envy actually has cheated on his wife, and it was a public thing. And so it's like you cheat, you have these females around you and you cheat on your wife. And now you're kind of thinking, oh, that's what men do. Like, I don't know. It just kind of, it's like you did your thing over here, that you weren't supposed to do. And now you're saying your women can't have female friends, male friends. You know what I mean?
I mean, obviously, yeah, it's
Yeah.
hypocritical. He cheated with Erica Mena, right?
Yeah, that's what they say. And maybe he's cheated with many other people. I don't know.
Yeah,
We're not
but I
getting
think Erica Mena was like the high profile one. I'm probably totally wrong, and if I am wrong, Erica Mena, I'm lying. Allegedly, you know, okay. Uh what was oh yeah, yeah, he's a hypocrite because he had his cake and ate it too, and like his wife is beautiful. She could have Cristiano Ronaldo if she wanted to. I mean, she's stunning.
That's what he's afraid of. That's what he was
Yeah,
saying.
that's super hypocritical, but I don't know. I feel like their reality is very different than my reality, and I'm not going to be choosing a man who is that insecure. I've been single long enough. Why in the world would I date, take
Mm-hmm.
up, sleep with, or anything like that with someone who's so goddamn insecure?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think, something Corey and I were talking about too was like I think it's crucial to have friends of the opposite gender because there are things that like my homegirls, like if I'm going through something with my man, my homegirls might just be like, "Yeah, girl, you right. Yeah, girl, he did that." But when you talk to a guy, he could be like, "Nah, actually, you wrong," because he knows men, right? And he could say, "If my girlfriend did that to me, I wouldn't like it." So there's like a certain perspective, that men have because they're a man than like my female friends have. So it's like that's all, and same with men having friends that are women. I think it's crucial to have that different perspective.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like when we stay in our circle, we tend to like live in a vacuum, and
Yeah.
I think it creates like ignorance. So I definitely think like having female and male friends and everything in between, like you should have a
Yeah.
diverse group of friends so you could have a diverse perspective and stay grounded. And the the perspective that we have is also valuable to our friends.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Redwood sometimes would be like, "Yo," and the way I'm portraying him, he doesn't speak like this. Sorry, Red.
Redwood.
Yeah, uh, but he'll usually be like, "So my sister said this, and I think that's fucking insane because I said this and this," and I'm just like, "You're wrong. Don't go say sorry to your sister." And he'll be like, next time I see them. And I'm like, okay, whatever.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
next question. Wait. Woo. How does his girlfriends respond to you being in his life as close as you are?
So I'm in a unique situation that Redwood, had, I've never had to experience that. Um,
Okay.
it's not that he doesn't date, it's that I haven't been, because our relationship is on two different coasts. I've never had to experience that, but I've said it out loud. Hey, Red, it's gonna really suck when you get a girlfriend because I'm gonna have to share you. And he just goes, no, no, you're not. Like, we're gonna be the same. It's not gonna be a problem. They know that you conversed. And I was just like, okay. So, yeah. Uh,
Oh my God.
yeah, he's hilarious. Oh my God. He comes and visits me at least once a year. And the whole time it's just like him and I were in like a cocoon. My roommate's met him. She loves Redwood, but Red and I will plan out our days. Well, ugh, sorry, I know I just went on a tangent, but I love him so much, and I don't get to see him that much. Red, I love you. Uh, but he came to see me last time, and like we just planned like a whole day of like, all right, let's go do nature stuff. Let's go eat vegan food because it's vegan. So we went to like all these really cool vegan spots, and then there was one day we were so tired, so we just sat in bed and rotted. It was amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. For me though, I again, maybe this is the hypocritical part. Like I feel like for me to be comfortable with my boyfriend having such a close relationship with another woman like that, I feel like I'd want to get to meet her too. You know what I mean? And like we don't have to also be best friends, but like I want to be able to meet her and be like, "Oh yeah, she's cool." Like you know what I mean? And I think I don't know. That's like how I feel. Like that's kind of how have always felt. Like just like, "Oh, so it's not like you're competing because I would hate to have the idea of like competing for your man and because it's like you're never going to be romantic the way he's never going to be romantic with another woman like he's with me if we're in a relationship, you know what I mean? So I like to look at it as like not like sharing, but like we're just your time is spent with different people. Like kind of like how I have girlfriends that like again, my boyfriend technically is sharing me with my girlfriends because I have my homegirls that I do stuff with, and then I have him. So it's like I would like to think of it as like us all at some point coming together. I don't know. Maybe that would make me feel a little less like insecure because like my insecurity is still kind of there with it. I don't know.
Oh man, I haven't been in a God, I haven't been in a long-term relationship for so long, and it
Yeah.
shows. Um, because the idea of like I don't know, I was recently in a romance with somebody, R.I.P. homeboy. But he's alive. He's just, dead to me. No I'm kidding.
Yeah.
No.
He's dead.
No, he was nice. But we just didn't work out.
Yeah.
Anyways, it I like to keep it separate until I know he's going to be in my life for a long time. So, I thought that this most recent person, or what should we call him? I don't know.
Walter.
Walter. Yeah. Just know I would never date someone named Walter. um,
Noted.
but Walter, Walter was really nice, and we. So I'm 33. He's 35, 36. And one thing that I make very clear is that I'm looking for a long-term relationship, and Walter started dating me because he was also interested in a long-term relationship, and it got so serious so quick
Oh.
that I was like, "Yep, you want to meet my friends?" And he's like, "Yep, you want to meet my friends?" So I started bringing him around like week 3.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's the last person to meet my friends. And even though it was lovely, I like to keep it separate. I don't like bringing it together because I want my time with Walter or whoever I date to be intimate until it has to evolve. Uh but I like to keep it separate. You can be friendly
Mm,
and cool with each other. Like my friend Suze, her partner is a friend, and he comes around, and I do consider him a very a good friend, but and I love him dearly, but it's separate. Suze keeps her relationship separate from the friendship, and he comes around and he will drop off and then come around 2 months later, but we
got
still love
it.
him.
That's what
Yeah.
I think is also cool. Like my boyfriend, I'm gonna be fair, like he also doesn't live he lives very far. He lives in Queens. And so when I hang out with my friends, we're in Manhattan or whatever, or, I might go to my girlfriend's house. I would never bring my boyfriend to my girlfriend's house ever. Not that I don't trust them. I mean, I want my boyfriend to be cool with my friends, but like, why do you need to come around if I'm going to my friend's house? Like, that's something that I do with my girl. You know what I mean? Same thing with my friends. I don't want them bringing their boyfriend to like little one-on-one hangouts with me. Don't do that. Have your intimate time with your man, then hang out with me after. But I think when it comes to gatherings, like a birthday party or I'm celebrating a little something, I have dinner, I'll invite my man.
Oh,
But
that's
like,
nice. Yeah.
yeah, but I get that of like wanting to keep it kind of separate. And my boyfriend's the exact same. Like I've met maybe two friends of his over the last 10 months. Like I don't, you know what I mean? And so yeah, it's like and then when we have our time together, it's so much more intimate where it's just me and you. That's it. And it's beautiful and you're here for the weekend, whatever. But it's not that we can't see each other's friends. It's not like, oh my God, like I'm trying to hide you, that which you're not doing. But could you see someone you're serious with also hanging out with you in Redwood at some point?
Yeah, like my dream would be, you know, my favorite ex. I'm gonna give them all names. uh, I don't know. Let's call him Hilton.
Okay.
Um, and all these weirdos have weird names. Hilton is my favorite ex, and my dream is constantly that like Hilton and Redwood would like meet, and I'd be making us dinner, and like
Aw.
Redwood and I dream about like living in the same state one day again. And hopefully, that involves like him getting to know my partner, whoever it is, and coming around to dinner once a week, or like, hey, them like eventually having a friendship of sorts. But like
Hmm.
that would be cool. But yeah, I don't know. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, I hope I answered the
Mhm.
question.
No, you did. You did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's not something that needs to be at all times separate. It's just like when you're comfortable with how the relationship's going, then it's like, oh, here's Redwood.
Yeah,
Y'all can meet,
like it's
Yeah.
like, hey, we've been together for 5 months. Do you want to meet the closest person in my life that I've been telling you about? Yeah, for sure. And then I'll like facilitate that. But again, someone's gonna have to. There are two non-negotiables in my life. You
Mm-hmm.
better like Redwood better like you, and you better be like Redwood. And my sister stamp of approval. If my sister looks at you and gives you that like what is your problem look or like no like that emoji of like all the teeth like then it's not gonna work.
That's the funny thing. My boyfriend does not give a fuck if his best friends like me or not. He does not give a fuck. He does
Oh,
not care. He'd be
I
like, I don't care. I feel the same. Like he does not, unless like there's a reason. Like they saw me do something crazy, and they told him, and there's evidence. Like he had said that he's like, I don't give a fuck if they like you or not. Like the way I feel about you is so strong, it doesn't matter. And I think I feel the same way. I don't know. I think me and him are a little bit different, where we don't give a fuck what people at all. Like even close friends who I trust. Obviously, like if there's a reason, let me know. He did something. He said something to you. What? Um, but yeah, but that's the thing. It's like I feel, and shout out to Charlemagne the God, who is not a perfect human being at all. I told you he's cheated on his wife multiple times, but he was saying when they talk about it on the Breakfast Club, he's always like, "Man, I got so many female friends, my best friends, sisters." And he said most of my friends are female, and like the way he said that, I was like, "Wow, now that's a mature ass man that you can have a wife that you love and be able to be friends with other females, them know your wife, them be cool with your wife." And it not be a fight. Like it doesn't have to be this tug and pull because it's something too. It's not a tug and pull when your man has homeboys, right? Or when your girlfriend has female friends who are just as fucking clingy and needy as anybody, right?
Mhm.
So it's like, why is that not a tug and pull when like my girl Andrea hits me up or whatever? You know what I mean? Or tug and pull when my boyfriend's homeboy, let's name him John. Apparently that's the
we're
name I'm using. Let's
we're like
John.
we're coming up with names over here. I come up with like the most random ones, and you're like John.
John. Simple, like
That's
if
that's
John.
smart. That's smart. Yeah, I'm like playing name association, like word association with these names.
Yeah, but like if John hits my boyfriend up all the time or whatever, I ain't thinking about it because that's a guy. And you're like, oh, well, he would never be with a guy. And
Right,
it's like,
but
well, yeah,
yeah, I know. I don't know. I don't think it needs to be like this big old thing. Like
yeah,
if the person that you're with makes you happy, why wouldn't your friends like them? I think the good thing, I think
yes,
what you and I got lucky with in our grad school program is that we met like really great friends. I have a really, 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 really fantastic group of friends in New York.
yeah.
And May, my roommate, will tell it to me straight when she doesn't like a guy. Like I dated this loser, let's call him Jawan, and like that's the most normal name I've given somebody. And Juan, he just sucked. And like I was like trying to make it work, and my roommate was like, no, you're putting in so much effort for him to put none.
Is your
Um,
roommate a guy or a girl?
my roommate's a girl.
Okay, ooh, you might not agree with this, but I actually wanted to do a disclaimer as like, I'm trying, I'm not too solid, strict with like, oh, my man having like female friends or having, but when it comes to living, nah. If you're not living with like your mom or your sister or me, I'm not okay with you living with a female friend.
Uh,
That's I draw the line there. That's where I'm like, fuck that.
oh man, way to call me out, Ellie. So
Nah.
for your listeners to learn to know, I used to live with a dude, and we went to grad school with that dude. Uh,
Yes.
what's up?
Yo. What's up?
Uh, Slick Rick, whatever.
Yeah,
I
Rick. I like that.
don't know. Slick he is not. I thought men and women could live together and be platonic. Found out not very quickly, but found out down the line that it doesn't always work out. I do think it can work. I just I just think that like he and I were in a interesting circumstance. Like the pandemic happened, and a lot of people grew unnecessary, not unnecessary, but like unusual attachments to other people because we were
Mhm,
isolated.
mhm.
So I think that's what happened. But it blew up big time, and now I will. Now that I live with a woman who is also one of my dearest friends, why the fuck would I ever go back to living with a dude unless like I'm in love?
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it a stack. I believe men when they say, "Oh, she's just like a sister. Oh, she's just like a cousin," and they hang out, they chill, whatever. I believe that because I had that situation where I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's my brother." No, you cannot live with that person and then tell me, "Nah, that's just my sister." I don't believe it. I don't. I think it's I don't like, it, especially if I'm dating you and and I don't say bitch, this woman, this young lady or whatever is just all she's sitting on your bed at some point watching movies with you. Oh, excuse me, we don't play. And I told my boyfriend, if that's where I draw the line. If you want to live with a woman that's not me, we're done. And I told him that, and he was like, "Well, I'm not living with no, I'm not. My friends are living at home. I'm living at home." And I was like, "Okay."
Right.
That's the because everyone needs a boundary. I don't believe in just everyone needs a boundary, and that's my boundary. You're not
Okay.
living with me.
Maybe my boundary's a little weirder. Maybe because like
Yeah,
New York's different, you know, like
yeah,
you find a roommate whenever you can.
yeah,
Okay, it'll if there's like five people and they're all of like, everyone's like different,
yeah,
it's like, like five like three women, four men, like six women, two dudes, like if these are big apartments that I'm picturing apparently, but like if it's like like there's like a bunch of people, cool, college dorm style, whatever. But if it's just like you and one other person, no, fuck that. And they're not your cousin or your or your brother or sister.
no,
Yeah. Yeah, I can draw the line there. Yeah, I probably
you're
wouldn't be
drawing.
that comfortable with that.
I don't care, and my boyfriend is the least likely man in the world to cheat on someone. Like, I mean, least likely, and I still wouldn't be okay with it. Because it's not that I think he's gonna cheat, it's just I'm not comfortable with you being so close in proximity to another woman day after day after day, Monday to Friday. That's not me. That's just call it insecure. It's just my boundary. Even though you probably won't cheat on me because you're not that type of guy.
I don't know.
You
I
know,
did experience like the worst heartbreak of my life with
yeah,
when that situation fell apart.
yeah,
And I think living together and being of opposite sex and attracted to the opposite sex, it creates like a certain intimacy and a
yeah.
certain kind of relationship. With my last living situation,
Mm-hmm.
there was definitely like blurred lines of like what is friendship and are we crossing a line?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that would give me pause
Yeah,
to just like if someone new that I'm dating is like look
yeah,
I'm getting emotional again for no reason. Like after experiencing what I experienced with my last living situation, I think I would be really has if someone new was like really special and then I
mhm,
find out that they're living with someone with
yeah,
the opposite sex and they have like a really close relationship and they live together, I think it would like I think I would have to like move on just
yeah,
because I experienced that type of closeness and it like yeah, like I said, it crossed a lot of it blurred a lot of lines of like what was friendship and what wasn't. So
yeah.
I think that's my hard limit too.
This episode's
Yeah.
making me think. That make me think I gotta go to therapy.
You know what, Ali? You need to record this because, like, what if the next relationship I'm in, and I'm gonna be real honest, I got one relationship left in me. One. I'm exhausted. I got one relationship left in me, and Ali, you might have to save this recording because what if I get into this relationship and, like, all of a sudden I'm just like, what do you mean you're looking the other way? Look at me, like like what if I all of a sudden become super jealous? No, no, it's not gonna happen. At the end of the day, the person that you are with, that you're choosing to enter into a relationship with,
Yes.
that's a different level of trust. That's a different level of intimacy. You're letting that person know the most hidden side of you. So, uh,
And they've
shit.
seen you naked. And they've seen you naked. That's
Well,
fake.
Many people have. That doesn't mean shit. So so like, they get to know the most intimate side of you. Choose somebody that isn't going to be jealous and that isn't going to trigger that in out of you as well, because it takes two to have a lack of trust, and it takes two to build trust.
Yes.
And so I think absolutely be be choosy. This is the thing that you could be selfish with. The person that you love is definitely the person that you could be selfish with. Choose the person that makes you feel secure, that doesn't bring out the not the crazy, but doesn't bring out the insecurity in you. Someone that makes you feel secure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Where
So
you
that
feel
you don't
safe.
have these like feelings of like, oh, what if he slept with her? So what if he did? He's not doing that now. He's sleeping with you.
That's true.
Yeah.
We'll be right back with Saucy but Sweet with Ali McPherson.
Are you ready to become the best version of yourself and live your best life? Are you tired of feeling stuck in your career, relationship, and your day-to-day routine? It all begins with you. In order to give your best, you have to become your best self. Stop living by default and create the life you want. I remember when there was a time where I felt like I had no control over my life. And the best life coach slash relationship coach to help me put my life back together was Odette Godinel. If you are a hardworking, independent, successful woman who lacks energy, focus, and direction, feels overwhelmed, stressed, and anxious, thinks there's never enough time, puts your well being at the bottom of your priority list, feels a lack of connection in your marriage or relationship, feels stuck and afraid of change, Odette can help. You don't have to keep struggling, and you don't have to figure it out alone. Odette has found the tools to learn how to stop living by default and start creating the life and the relationship she wanted, and help countless clients do the same. Visit www.odettegodinel.com. She will definitely change your life. For all my listeners out there who think that, oh, my partner having a friend of opposite gender is intimidating and this and that, it's like that person has had that person in their life for years or however long, and they never wanted to enter a relationship with that person. They chose you to enter a relationship with and to be intimate with or whatever. Like that means something. That's like you're special. And so that's what you need to think about when you're feeling insecure. You're feeling like, oh my God, this person has this special bond with someone else. It's like, no, he's your boyfriend, he's your man. There's a different type of bond.
Yeah, and if your trust does get violated and they do like, and you do find out that they've been going back and forth and this is a game that they're playing or something, shame on them.
Shame
And
on them.
like, it's not a reflection on you, and it's not your lack of good judgment. Like it's their lack of good judgment.
Exactly.
So I hope, like, to your listeners, I hope they don't blame themselves.
Exactly. Yeah, because there
Yeah.
are people, and I this is I think what Steve Harvey was alluding to, even though he was generalizing way too much. There are people that can't just be friends with the opposite gender. There are people that just
Yeah,
simply
there's definitely those people that are like, "Oh my God, so and so looked at me like we're falling in love." And I think that's kind of lame. Like just be
yeah.
just be homies.
But yeah, thank you so much for joining this conversation. This has been so great. You can come on anytime.
This is really nice. I love how like we both have very different experiences, but we kind of feel the same.
We do, yeah. Yeah. I need to stick to therapy. You're great. I need to so it's like I learned a lot about myself in this situation.
Oh. Yeah, no, I'd love to come back anytime. Maybe one day you and Corey and I could podcast together. You could be a guest on ours next
I
time.
love that. I know nothing about sports, so I'm just gonna sit there and nod. But yes,
Well,
I'd
it's
love
cool
to.
because we can tell you about sports.
Amazing. Yeah, we can make that happen.